Mr. Sadique CEO CESU with us, and I would like to invite Mr. Sadique for telling us as to how with his diary which you had, sir, and which I have mentioned time and again that diary will be a well-preserved diary which has recorded the journey of post-Fani.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Honorable Secretary Energy, all the guests on the dais, President, Vice President, Director General, all other members of this organization, and all the other participants representing from all the benefits units, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I thank IEEMA for calling to invite me in this occasion. It is a very special occasion, just after Fani. I also express my sincere gratitude to all the members of IEEMA for extending all the cooperation at the very odd hours for this post-cyclone Fani restoration and bringing normalcy in the state. As mentioned by our Director General, I think during that time he visited control room, and I even couldn't see his face. Later, Mr. Smurti introduced me the Director General of IEEMA. I was surprised he also advised me. That it was like a combat situation I was writing in the diaries, everything. He told me, as he mentioned, that right now you should preserve this diary for the whole lifetime. Anyway, so just I will share my experiences on this Fani restoration, and even before that, because we all know that this electricity is a very critical resource for overall economic growth, as well as now it's become commodity. It's become essential services for all, for the day-to-day life, which we can observe in this after completely total blackout after this cyclone. So once we received this information about this possible Fani, so immediately we prepared our this preparatory action plan. On the day before this cyclone, 2 days, 3 days back, 28 to 29, Chief Secretary also held a meeting, immediately called all the senior officers, and immediately we were on action, and we prepared complete action plan to tackle this situation. We were completely unaware of the damages, which may be possible damages, but we were completely dark on that. We had no clue on that time. But immediately, once we received the information, first thing we immediately start operation of this 24/7 control rooms, not only at the head offices, but all the division officers too. All the senior officers have been deployed at the field level. Basically, they have been given tasks to the divisional to manage the divisions. Basically, senior level of officers, the executives have been deployed to assist and to go for preparation of excerpt plan at the division level too. And we have assessed immediately our resources available, stock materials, and whatever the material available at our store, immediately we diverted to the field level, and we assessed also our further requirement. Based on the requirement, immediate purchase order is given to basically sale. We have given 10,000 gold for this cyclone, and also for the PSC, for the local vendors, we have placed some purchase order. All the leads were cancelled. All officers were directed to resume duty immediately. We have also disbursed amount basically to meet the expenses for all the division level officers. We have also given advertisement to the print and social media, also in the electronic media, for about the precautionary measure for the general information of the consumers on safety issue. We have also issued guidelines with all the field functionaries to go for shutdown of power if the wind speed crosses 60 km/h. Those type of activities have been carried out before this Fani. Also, we mobilized on the day, on 2nd of May, almost 2,500 manpower have been locally arranged. They have been deployed to all the division levels. These preparatory activities were carried out before this Fani, and we have also identified the critical infrastructure division-wise, and we prepared a restoration plan division-wise before this Fani. So as you all know that on 3rd, this cyclone, this is a summer cyclone, let's say it's a summer cyclone after 120 years, this is a kind of summer cyclone made landfall at Odisha, basically in Puri in the coastal area, and it was a complete severe cyclone, severe damage to our infrastructure. If you look into the magnitude of this devastation, it is much more than the devastation taken place during that time, at the super cyclone time in 1999, due to huge growth in the Mewat itself. After cyclone Fani, the entire, let's say, almost 5 districts were severely damaged. In the southern districts, 99% our infrastructure got damaged. And if you look into the magnitude, the number of feeders, 163 number of 30 feeders. Similarly, almost 73 number of substations, almost 900 plus number of 11 kV feeders, almost 2 lakh number of poles were damaged, more than 65,000 DP structure got damaged. Now come to the 20 years growth. I want to say that how this Fani damage is more than that super cyclone. If you look into the growth of our infrastructure of over a period of this 20 years, our 33 kV line length has been grown up to more than 68-69%. And 11 kV line growth is more than 170%. And our LT line length has grown more than 186%. Similarly, this DTR growth is over a period of this 20 years is more than 430%. So you can see, we can just compare this, the magnitude, the volume of this devastation during Fani. So soon after this cyclone, when it receded, a high-level meeting was conducted by Honorable Chief Minister, and direction was given to all the senior officers to take all the possible steps for immediate restoration of power supply. After getting information, immediately our Honorable Secretary called emergency meeting, calling all the senior officers of all the sister organizations of the power sector. It is not only the CSU which achieve these things. All the sister organizations, it was like a completely team of senior officers being called. Various immediate decisions were taken on the same day. 5 immediate senior officers, 5 teams are constituted on the time. One team is for manpower mobilization and its deployment. One team is for material procurement and its management. One team is for MIS updation, information based, so that the secretary will take review on day-to-day basis. One team was only for logistic arrangement to provide accommodations, fooding, lodging, etc. to all the workers. One team was also prepared for coordination purpose, because there was no network, there was no telecommunication network. We managed it through our special messengers. There was one team of messengers who could coordinate with all the field functionaries, with the divisional level officers, and also with the working groups. These 5 immediate teams of senior officers have been created. Specific tasks, assignment has been given to those teams. Thereafter, all the senior officers have been let's say supervisory officer have been deployed. It's not that supervisory level at the level of the division. At all the level, supervisory officer at the division level, supervisory officer at the 33 kV substation, 33 kV feeder, all corresponding 11 kV feeders. Also, supervisory officer have been deployed in each of the gang. Linemen also, given tasks, they have been deployed in each gang. Manager, deputy manager, AF level have been given the task of each 11 kV feeders, feeder-wise deployment. Similarly, for the structure, AGM or manager level officers have been deployed. On one SGM or general manager level officers have been deployed to manage this at the division level. At all the locations allowed, we have deployed these supervisory officers. Similarly, government also deployed their supervisory officer, the principal secretary or secretary, and at the district levels too. There was also multi-agency control room where our manpower is also deployed for better coordination with all the departments. Then the other challenges were to immediately mobilize this manpower. There was a huge constraint of manpower because it's a huge task. There was another task that we have to carry out in the month of 6 months, or we didn't have any luxury of time on that. There was a completely emergency situation. We worked out, entire manpower of the states have been mobilized immediately. All the manpowers maybe work under different agencies for the different schemes. They have been diverted immediately, but that much was not sufficient. We also mobilized the manpower from outside the state, from the neighboring. Almost 12 states had provided their manpower. Also, discounts officers are being deployed for supervision of this work. Manpower also deployed from the outsourcing agencies. We have also franchise, they have deployed their own manpower to all the systems officers being diverted to only SESU. By this way, we could be able to manage this huge requirement of manpower. Almost more than 20,000 additional manpower are being deployed. It is not that once we deploy it, we have to forget it. No, every day we have to, because it is such kind of tough task. Every 10 or 15 days, one group will always move, because after 10 to 15 days they cannot continue. It's a very difficult task. On high temperature, they cannot keep continuing. So every 10 to 15 days, some of the groups will go out. So means we have to maintain this pool of manpower. We have to manage this manpower on day-to-day basis. Every day we used to balance this 200 manpower, 200 gangs every day. Mobilization. By this way, we could mobilize this manpower. The second thing is that manpower requires materials. I already explained just that what was the magnitude of this devastation of network. That much of number of materials immediately required. Otherwise, all the manpower will be completely standing still. To provide the materials, here your role is, I must say again, I will express my sincere gratitude to all the manufacturers that in these odd hours, in difficult situation, our manufacturers could provide the sufficient required manpower, materials, and they have supplied materials on emergency basis to us. So we segregated these materials in basically broadly in two parts. One is major material, other one is minor materials. For the major materials, all the procurements orders are being given to by the head office, and we have adopted some emergency procurement system. We issued guidelines for that. And for the minor materials, head office also procured that material from the reputed suppliers, manufacturers directly, also through SIC, and also all the executive engineers and the superintendent engineers are being empowered to procure the material, these minor materials from the reputed suppliers or manufacturers, limited to the government approved rate. Their financial limit has also been enhanced on the time. We have also delegated this work to them, so that there should be a decentralization of work too. By this way, we could manage this materials. And the important thing, this is not about the procurement of materials. There should be also hassle-free movement of this. We are not clear initially. Vehicular movement were completely disturbed due to fallen trees. We have central stores there, but that immediate decision we have taken to creation of some transit store at the field level, also site store. Each division has been created one transit store, and similarly at the section or substation level, we have created site store. The material moved from supplier, Camp Odisha, and it directly goes to the transit store. Specific manpower been deployed, specific roles and responsibilities were given to them to check and to also maintain the register, to take intent from the field level officers. By way of this, we could able to manage this free movement of materials without any hassle, and will also maintaining the transparency, maintaining the book of accounts at the field level too. Similarly, to work, we need establishment of this fabrication, because this material is not fabricated. This is a raw material. We cannot just purchase and erect the pole. We need to put the holes. We need to cut the channels. We need to put bring into the proper shape. There was no electricity. We established fabrication units at all the substation level, separate manpower deployed to operate these fabrication units, wherein these numbers of genset, gas cutter, etc. Now all things were mobilized, All the teams looked into all the different aspects of things. The supervisory officers were also. Now the things become how we monitor these things. For monitoring of these things, what was the mode of execution? Actually, we adopted two modes of execution. One mode was on labor rate contract basis, the other one was on partial turnkey basis. For the labor contract, we have taken so many decisions. We immediately enhanced the rate of labor rates, and also daily food allowances have been increased by 1.5 times. And similarly, we have provided to and fro cost of them. We provided accommodation. We provided all the logistic support to them, and we have also provided 40% of that money on cash, so that they will be a cash on hand to manage their own day-to-day affairs also. And for the PTC contractor, partial turnkey, we have provided the major materials to them. They have arranged their own minor materials, but it was completely flexible. It is not that if the minor material is available with us, so they can also take. If the minor material with them, we can also take. It was completely flexible guidelines were issued on that. And we have introduced an incentive system to them. We have given a deadline to them. If you complete this task by 15 days, you will get 25% additional incentive on and above the billing value of the bill. And if you provide in 1 month, after 15 to other 15 days, you will get 10%. So there were so many decisions taken to motivate them. We have also taken decisions to give, there should be some cash flow on that. Immediate mobilization advance provision has been made so that they can also meet the petty expenditure. So all these steps we are taken for the monitoring purpose. We have prepared various format on that. For daily review, we prepared a very detailed formats on like what is the feeder-wise basically information has been prepared. The format was like that. What is the total? What is the 33 kV line? What is the primary substation? What is the corresponding 11 kV feeders? And what is the total damages, what is number of pole damage, number of pole restored, similarly what is the number of DTs, what is the DT restored, number of consumers restored, number of tanks are deployed on each feeder wise on the demand column. It was a very extensive and intensive formats were prepared. By way of this, we monitored it every day. Daily review meetings were conducted by our secretary in the morning time. And in every day afternoon, there was a field visit by secretary, and myself was also, and all the senior officers ensured that they visited at the field level at the basically afternoon time. In the morning time, we could conduct meetings with them, with the nodal officers, review the progress, and also second half, we made ourselves available at the field level for all kind of motivation support to the field functionaries, and also to oversee the work at the field level. We have also prepared WhatsApp groups. Through WhatsApp, we also monitor this progress. We have issued a guideline, several guidelines. We issued guidelines for procurement of material, guidelines for books of account, maintenance of books of account, guidelines for rectification work, for the painting of the poles, guidelines for monetization of scrap materials and the clearance of debris. Various guidelines, or clear guidelines were issued to them. There was no ambiguity on that. And then when required, we also modified some of the guidelines so that our work should not suffer. And we have a very clear payment guideline also been issued. How 15 days payment policy we have adopted. Separate bill desks have been constituted. Separate manpower has been deployed subdivision wise, so that every day the bill will be clear. These were the steps that we have taken, and which is achieved. If we see the restoration work, we could restore the power supply in Cuttack area, basically Cuttack town, and all the district headquarters by 6th of May itself. The entire town of Bhubaneswar we could restore by 12th of May, and all the 33 kV lines, 11 kV we restored by 24th June, and all the DTRs and the consumers we have covered, we have charged by 30th of June. These were the steps that we have taken. It was not the efforts made by only energy department. It was completely a team effort who all joined. Even some cases, we also voluntary organizations came forward. The people itself, the village itself came forward. There were various challenges. It was like it was very hot summer. The temperature was more than 43, 44 degrees, and obviously due to this high temperature, the difficulties faced by both the sides, by our workers and also by the consumers too. And there was obviously always facing problem. We faced also a lot of issues at the field level. There were a lot of issues. Some terrains were very difficult in nature, because since we restore this, we have to go for some narrow gullies where the machinery cannot go. We have to go for manually. We have to erect this manually. Some of the terrains is like that. The only material being transported through head loadings, and we have to erect manually. Various challenges were there. Roads were not measurable. Even suppose to start the work, first we have to clear our ROW. All the old network, the damaged networks were also under the fallen trees. So suppose we deployed the manpower, the materials, they cannot start immediately. First we have to clear the RWs, we have to cut the logs, we have to clear the debris itself, we have to go for dismantling of this land. Then we have to, our 60% energy actually used for that, for clearance of that. It was not a easy task, it was very difficult task. There was no network telecommunication up to at least 10 to 12, there was no network, it was completely blackout. If we have to call someone, we have to send the messages physically, then we have to get the information from them. We adhered also safety regulations very strictly. Our safety teams also moved from one location to different locations, from one division to different divisions. And we have a clear-cut SOPs. Once command is given in the morning, before starting the work, they will adhere to the SOPs, and before charging, they have also roll call. There is a head counts. After that, they will start charging. We have also not compromised the safety aspect. By this way, it was a completely team effort. We all joined hands and we moved forward could able to achieve these things within the shortest possible time. And obviously, the contribution made by this all manufacturer, I will always remember this contribution. The entire department will remember you all. And now, after this post-cyclone, now it is in the store, we are also thinking about this resilient infrastructure, etc. We have made so many analysis on that. What were the damage, what kind of network we are using. Because suppose, let's say, pole, we are using different kind of poles. We are using also H pole, joist pole, also PSC pole. We have also analyzed, we have also assessed what are the damages in different kind of poles. If you look into the damages, PSC pole is 100% damages. In case of joist pole, it is 40 to 50% damage. But in case of HCC, it is negligible in nature. So also we learned so many things. Restoration, if you look into that, restoration through anti-AVD cabling is faster than the bare conductors, etc. And we are assessing all the things in the resilient infrastructure. It is on the discussion stage. Obviously, our secretary will throw some light on that. So it is on the discussion. Once it will be finalized, definitely we will share this document with you all. And at the end of my speech, I again thanks to all of you for extending all kind of support. And we are expecting a long session ahead. Thank you.